What is going on, everybody? Chris here, and I got invited to use Tesla's Robotaxi service in Austin, Texas. This is pretty crazy. Right now we are driving, Stephanie's driving with FSD, on our way to Muskegon, Michigan. There's an event there, the Tesla Owners of Michigan. If you're around, you should show up. We're trying to set a record with a light show over there. It's Friday and Saturday, what is today, 20th? June 20th and 21st. So the Tesla Robotaxi, I got an email last night at like 1 in the morning. I don't know what it is with Tesla and these weird times, but 1 a.m. June 20th, inviting me to use the Robotaxi service. It's like an early access invite, and it's on June 22nd is when it starts. And I'm in Michigan, which obviously is pretty far from Austin, Texas. But I got invited and I'm very excited to try it out. So I wanted to talk to you about the email that I got, what it tells me in the email, the different things that it says I kind of can and can't do, and that I'm going to go down to Austin and try out this Robotaxi service, which makes sense in the context of, everything, but it is kind of silly that I'm going to fly a plane from Michigan to Texas to drive in a taxi. But it's a driverless Tesla Model Y Robotaxi. I'm going to hold the camera to make sure it doesn't fall here. All right, I failed in making the camera not fall, but that's all right. So in this email, it is saying that you're invited to the early access of Tesla's Robotaxi program. An early access rider, you can be among the first to use our new Robotaxi app and experience an autonomous ride within a geofenced area in Austin, Texas. Now, people are kind of questioning, is this the launch of Robotaxi? Can you really count it? Because it is in June, and I am just, a random member of the public. I don't work for Tesla, but at the same time, I was specifically invited to use this service. It's not like open to anyone, at least yet. Maybe in a week or 2 weeks or 2 months, anyone will be able to use it in that geofenced area. But for now, it is invite only. And although it is invite only, I can take pictures and videos, and there's not like a ton of rules or anything. There are a couple that I'm going to share with you, but for the most part, I just get to go ride in the Robotaxi as a non-Tesla employee and enjoy the service. Now, it would make a little more sense if I lived in Austin and was just going to use the Robotaxi, to actually get around. But as it stands, it's mostly just going to be me flying down there to check it out. Now, flying down to Austin just to take a Robotaxi is going to be a little bit expensive, so that's where today's sponsor comes in, Delete Me. Did you know data brokers are stealing your personal information, meaning your birthday, your phone number, your address, your email, all kinds of different things, and they're selling those to third parties, and that can wind up with you getting identity theft, phishing, or other scams. It can also lead to spam calls and all kinds of nasty things. So Delete Me will go to these data brokers. They will get your information deleted for you. You can use the link down below to save 20%. I've been using Delete Me personally for over a year and a half now, and I have seen with my own eyes my information disappear from these data brokers. It is a great service that keeps everybody's safety in mind, and I highly recommend everybody check out Delete Me to get your information deleted off the internet. Use that link down below, save 20%. Huge thank you to Delete Me for sponsoring this video. So let's get more into this email and really talk about what Tesla said, kind of you can expect when you're using this Robotaxi program, what you need to do, and those types of things. So you must read through and agree to the attached terms of service, rider rules, Robotaxi rider privacy notice, and service animal policy. So I don't have a service animal. I probably won't read that one, but you can bring service animals on the Robotaxi if they're needed. No other animals are allowed. So you must also have a credit or debit card on file. It doesn't say if I'm going to have to pay to use this service yet, or if it's free, and maybe you just need that on there for it to work. But as of now, you have to have the credit card on file. All right, kind of waiting for the rain to come in and out here. So you may request a ride in the app to or from anywhere in the geofenced area, excluding airports, between 6 a.m. and 12 a.m. midnight every day of the week. These operational hours are subject to change. A map of the geofenced area is available in the app. So I cannot download the app yet. It is iOS only. I'm pretty sure it seems that way. At least it's not 100% clear. But once you download the app, you can then request rides anywhere in the geofenced area. And I don't know exactly where that is now. There were some maps floating around on X that show what the geofenced area is, but that doesn't mean that's what's going to be available to me and other riders in this kind of early invite program. Now, even though there is this bigger geofenced area, it says the surface area may be limited or unavailable in the event of inclement weather. And this is going to be a sticking point for a lot of people. There's always times where people can't drive or robots can't drive, but we'll have to see exactly what that means. A light rain, is it not going to function? I would guess it will be fine, but we'll find what weather, hopefully, that this service will be available in. It says, be courteous and treat the service with respect. Basically, just leave the car as you found it because you don't want to trash it, which makes sense. Tesla is developing like that giant robot robot to clean the robotaxis, like the Cybercab robotaxi. But as of now, of course, none of that is operational. So they're going to have employees that will be cleaning the cars for them in the meantime. You can then provide a star rating and feedback in the app, and it says that photos and videos of the experience are okay. Now, to use the Robotaxi service, you have to be 18 years or older, and I can bring one guest with me. It doesn't say that there's any restrictions that you can bring any guest you want as your +1. It also doesn't say there's any ride restrictions, so I don't know if I can just like drive in this Robotaxi all day, all over the place, or if I can only use it a couple of times a day or once a day or something like that. It does say that your guest can't download the app themselves. They can't use the app themselves. You basically download the app on your phone and you're kind of in control. You can bring people with you, but you can't share the app. On top of this, a point that a lot of people are going to stick on, a Tesla safety monitor is going to be in the vehicle at all times. Now, they're not in the driver's seat, they're in the passenger seat, so that makes me a little happier about that. For me, this isn't really too big of a negative. I've already seen people saying, oh, there's a safety driver in the passenger seat. This means it's not a real Robotaxi. I think that's kind of ridiculous. If you have an empty driver's seat, it's a Robotaxi, and you know, it is driving itself around. If he was sitting in the driver's seat, I could see, you know, the complaints, and that would be pretty lame. But as of now, this person will be monitoring, who knows, you know, the vehicles, the program, getting feedback from people, making sure people, you know, aren't doing anything bad in the Robotaxis for now. And when this gets launched more publicly, is this person still going to be there? Probably not. And especially as Tesla scales and adds more and more vehicles to this program, then that's not feasible. You're not going to put a person in every Robotaxi. That kind of defeats the purpose of a Robotaxi, right? If you have to have an employee in every single one. But for now, we don't know how many Robotaxis Tesla is driving around. It has to be a decent amount because several people have been invited to this early access of the program where they can go use a Robotaxi. So I can't imagine that they're going to, you know, invite, let's say 20 people, I have no idea, invite 20 people to come try out the Robotaxis and only have 5 available. And then those 20 people are going to be waiting hours and hours to get a Robotaxi ride, especially if it takes, you know, person A super far away and then has to go all the way back to get the other person. It just doesn't make sense. So there must be a decent amount of these Model Y Robotaxis driving around Austin right now that they can launch the program even in this capacity. Tesla did also ask for a response to that email to then send me out the app. So it seems like if you're not interested or you don't respond, they're not going to give you access to this app, the Robotaxi separate app, just because you got the email. So you have to actually respond, which of course I did. So the privacy notice, if we look real quick, is also very interesting. It says that you can experience seamless, individualized transport by the planet's most experienced driver, Robotaxi. Using anonymous data from our global fleet, we're able to learn from real-world scenarios. We know that Tesla uses personal drivers and FSD data coming back to train the system. Now, if you do accept this invite and use the early access Robotaxi, the riders and guests are subject to kind of additional monitoring, basically, that's going to help Tesla train the system better. So this includes Robotaxi's collection of exterior camera analytics, cabin camera analytics, sound detection, and other information that they're going to collect from the Robotaxi to help develop the program and make it better. And then Tesla tells you some of the additional data that they're going to collect. This includes like your account information, financial information, what trip you took, again, all to help develop the Robotaxi, make it function better in the future. And again, you are accepting this invite to an early access program. So if you look over this stuff, that's why they sent it to you, and you're not comfortable with any of this data collection, you simply could just, you know, say no and not do it. And in the future, of course, they'll continue collecting data as this goes more wide and more public, but it'll always be, you know, given to you up front. And if you're not comfortable, just like any service, you simply could skip out and not use it. Now, what's also interesting about this privacy is I'm not sure how they're going to use the cabin camera, because right below all of that we were just talking about, it says that the cabin camera during an active ride is not used unless you initiate a request for support or operator assistance is required in case of an emergency. So unless you are requesting something, this interior camera that we all have is not going to be used. And if it is used, you'll see a green dot on the screen, which is the same thing we see in our FSD Supervise, where it's watching your eyes. It basically shows you the camera is active, kind of a universal symbol that you'll see on your phone and everything. And then also for sound detection, it says that they're not going to like record conversations and stuff and only use that if it's sound detection uses the microphone to transmit audio only when you initiate a request to speak with support or when necessary to provide help in case of a safety event like 911 or other emergency services. And this will be indicated by an orange dot on the screen right next to the green one. So with that, I'm very excited to go try Tesla's Robotaxi. I can't believe the day is actually here. It's been so many years of Tesla talking about having a robotaxi, a driverless vehicle, of us driving and kind of training it. And on top of that, just kind of the doubt of like, yeah, they'll get it eventually, but it seems far away. It seems far away. And even a couple of months ago, I would have said, yeah, it still seems pretty far away, even though the system is so good. It's hard to imagine this exact vehicle that I'm sitting in driving around with either me sleeping in it or no driver in the driver's seat, or, you know, whatever the condition is. But like, we're actually here, and, you know, there's limitations. It's invite only as of today. It's in a geofenced area, you know, all of these different things. But, you know, overall, actual driverless Tesla vehicles on public roads are here. Okay, and I almost forgot the Robotaxi Rules sheet. There's actually not that many, but let's go over them real quick. You're responsible for complying, thank you for zooming out on me, with these rules and ensuring that any other person you allow in the Robotaxi also complies. Must be 18 to book the Robotaxi, but you don't have to be 18 to actually ride in it like as a +1. You may not book a ride for another person. You must remain with your guests for the entire ride. So if you're in the early access, you want to bring someone else, they can come with you, but you can't just let them take it without you. Guests under the age of 18 are prohibited from riding in a robotaxi. Okay, well, never mind. So that updates that. Your safety is top priority. All passengers must remain seated with seatbelts properly fastened. Of course, I mean, this is where it gets kind of funny to me, because that's a law, right? Like, you have to be buckled in the vehicle. I guess not every state you have to be buckled in the back seat. So you'll have to be buckled in the back seat to use a robotaxi, but it's just funny that they have to reiterate these things. Disabled riders may bring service animals. All other animals must stay home. Be courteous and leave the robotaxi as you found it. At Tesla's discretion, you may be charged an additional fee for dirtying or damaging the vehicle. So an additional fee. It sounds like we're going to be paying for these robotaxi rides, which makes sense. It's a robotaxi service. At the same time, I kind of feel like the early access thing, you know, they would want to collect the data and entice people, but people are going to I'm going to pay. People are going to pay to use this no matter what. So it makes sense from Tesla's point of view. And then it says, please be sure to close all doors after entering and exiting the robotaxi. Forgetting may impact the vehicle's ability to move. So that's really funny, because you think like Model X can open and close all its own doors. And then same thing with the, of course, the dedicated Cybercab will have electronic doors, so it won't have to worry about that. But Model Y, it can't open or close its own doors, so the people will have to do that for you. And then please be sure, riders must behave and interact with the robotaxi and any robotaxi staff in a reasonable manner consistent with public safety and decorum. That makes sense. Responsible for logging out of any software applications you or any of your guests accessed on the robotaxi user interface. So using the rear screen, you could log into, say, your YouTube Music account or something, or your Spotify. Once you leave, you have to log out yourself. So this is something they'll have to definitely change in the future, because, you know, people are going to forget and everything. But yeah, they should have it so when the ride ends, it just wipes all the accounts. I'm sure that's something they're working on. And then for the vehicle, riders are prohibited from sitting in the front left seat, i.e., this is so funny how they word this, driver's customary seating position. It's no longer a driver's seat. It's a driver's customary seating position, but you can sit in any of the other available seats. Number of passengers may not exceed 2, so you'll only have 2 people in the back seat. And of course, for now, we have the safety driver, so nobody in the passenger seat for now. Do not tamper with, modify, or, mess with the robotaxi. Anything that could interfere or disrupt the service. So, of course, I mean, that makes total sense. You can't destroy property. Smoking, vaping, consuming alcohol, or using drugs is not permitted. Come on, isn't that the point of a robotaxi? You can drink and drive. Okay, I'm just kidding. But so you can't do anything of that in the robotaxi, at least for now. That may change later. Robotaxi cannot be used in connection with any crime. So, you can't smuggle drugs or do any crime while you're in the robotaxi, so that's good to know. Instruments or equipment intended to record, measure, reverse engineer, collect information about the program are prohibited. Interesting. So bringing onboarding devices with the intent to obtain competitively sensitive, proprietary, or non-public information. So this is something that's definitely at Tesla's discretion. Obviously, people are going to be recording and taking pictures and stuff, but if you try to, reverse engineer it, then they're going to, sue you or ban you from the program. And then they can suspend you at any time, pretty much, if they want to do that. So those are the rules that were included. It's really not that much, so this seems pretty reasonable to me. So let me know what you'd like to know about the robotaxi service and experience. I'll make sure to, I'm kind of actually happy that the safety driver is going to be in there, because I can ask them questions, about if there's been problems, which they probably won't talk about, but I'll ask them questions about the service and kind of get everything I can out of them. But at the same time, get to still experience the robotaxi with nobody in the driver's seat. So with that, let me know what you want to know, if there's questions you have about the Robotaxi service or just the general experience, and I'll try to cover those when I head to Austin. So thanks for watching, and you will see me in the next video.